What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and before we hop into today's video, guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do it. Hit the like button to help us beat out the YouTube algorithm. I'm getting more active on Twitter, so go in the link into the description. Follow me on Twitter. Would greatly appreciate it. But most importantly, get in the comment section. It's going absolutely insane down there. There's no controlling you guys, and I would never try to control the comment section. That's why I started a YouTube channel. I love the comment section. So get down there and join the chaos. Guys, we're going to be talking about the trade deadline. Trade deadline is looming. It is less than 14 days away, and the New York Jets are now 4-2. The trade deadline is November 1st, and the question needs to be asked, what will the New York Jets be at the trade deadline? Buyers or sellers? And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to come up with an answer by the end of this video. For us to answer that question, there are a couple of other questions that we need to ask that lead up to whether or not the New York Jets should be buyers or sellers. I think the most important question that you need to ask, and it's the first question in the line of questioning, is, are the New York Jets real? Is this a playoff team? Or what we seeing a fluke, or is this what the New York Jets team is? Are we actually 4-2? And I want to say I think that the New York Jets are real. I think outside of the media, Jets fans and people that actually watch and evaluate this team and looked at the players that we brought in all saw on the horizon what this team could be. And a lot of these pundits and people saying the Jets have arrived a year early just don't understand and don't see what Joe Douglas did. This team did not arrive a year early. This team arrived right on time. We are 4-2, and there's a good to fair chance that we go into the bye week with 6 or 7 wins. That's a real thing. And having the playoffs solely in our control. That's a real evaluation of the New York Jets team. So I do think that the New York Jets are a playoff team. Now we got to go to the next question, right? Okay. There's different levels of playoffs teams, right? Like somebody in the AFC South needs to make the playoffs. That doesn't mean that they're a playoff team, right? Another great example of that is for years now, somebody in the NFC East had to make the playoffs. Didn't mean that they were a playoff team, right? So let's talk about it. Are the New York Jets, we know that they're a playoff team, right? They should make the playoffs this year, in my opinion. Are they a Super Bowl contending team? Are they in that conversation seriously, right? Because you can be a playoff team and not be a Super Bowl team. We see that from whatever team comes out of the AFC South this year is going to get knocked out in the first round. Easy. It's not even a conversation. My opinion, probably the same thing that's going to happen with the NFC North. I think whoever comes out of the NFC North is immediately going to get knocked out. Like Minnesota or Green Bay, in my opinion, is not better than Dallas, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, or whoever comes out of the NFC West. Right? So, are the New York Jets a Super Bowl team? I don't think so yet. And I think that comes down to the quarterback position. Let me start by saying I believe in Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson will be the quarterback that we all expect him to be. I am all in on Zach Wilson. That is foreshadowing for a future video. I'm all in on him. I think he's the guy. But right now, what we're doing is we're doing the Mark Sanchez NFL, like the football that we were playing with Mark Sanchez. We went to 2 back-to-back AFC championships, piggybacking off of what? Our run game? Our stout, awesome defensive unit, and special teams. We're doing the same thing now with Zach Wilson, and that's not a bad thing. That's giving him an opportunity to develop and grow. We have to remember that Zach Wilson hasn't played a full 17 games yet. Like, that's just a fact, right? So let's give the kid some time to develop and to grow, and I think that he will be the quarterback that we all want him to be. So I don't think that we're a Super Bowl contending team yet. Now, here's the real question that answers, should we be buyers or sellers? Would that change if we brought players in at the deadline? I think the answer there is yeah. I think that there are specific spots on this team where we can get better and we can become even better units. I think a great example of that is in the middle of the defensive line. Is there an interior defensive lineman that we can go out and maybe acquire that'll help Quinnen Williams propel even further and be even more dominant? Maybe. Is there a linebacker that we can bring in and turn our linebacking core from one that's actually pretty good to absolutely lethal? Maybe. That's an option. While I really like the performance that we're getting out of our safeties, you're telling me if there's a safety available, if we brought it in and they started competing for that spot, that we couldn't get better at safety? Maybe. That's a serious conversation that can have. Teams are going to start looking to sell off left tackles and right tackles and all of that stuff for draft picks. You're telling me that if we brought in a tackle right now and played them so that we can move Elijah Vera-Tucker back to guard, that this team wouldn't get better? While I like Connor McGovern and the performance that we're getting out of him, we could use an improvement at center. There are places on this football team where we can get better. And so to answer the question that I posed at the beginning of the video, should the New York Jets be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? I think the answer plainly is yes. I think we should do both. I think that there are players on this team that are taking up roster spots that aren't going to get the play time that they deserve. And we should move them and acquire assets. Now, we should then use those assets to acquire players to come in and help this team win games. It's the best of both worlds. Move out assets to bring assets in. It's all what football and being a general manager is. And I'm really excited to see what this front office does this trade deadline, because I think it's really going to show us how they believe in this football team. If they're sellers, if they're buyers, if they don't do anything, it's going to be really telling of what Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and everybody in the front office thinks of our roster and of our franchise. And ultimately, I'm excited to see what happens. Guys, let me know. What do you think? Should you think we should be buyers? Do you think we should be sellers? Do you think we should be both? Should you not fix something that isn't broke? What do you think in the comment section below? And last but not least, go Jets.